Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our UniFi webinar series. We're very excited to have everyone here for another installment. In past presentations, we covered quite a few different UniFi product solutions, such as the UniFi Door Access, UniFi Protect surveillance solutions, UniFi switching and power tech solutions, and now we get to check out the UniFi Integrations, which is made up of all their fun products that complement the UniFi product line. These integrations include VoIP phones, digital signage, audio power amps, EV charging stations for homes or businesses, as well as mobile routing. So why develop so many products for the UniFi platform? Well, these integrations allow businesses and IT administrators to build a unified infrastructure that combines all of the networking, communication, power, and access control under a single management interface. And this enables you to provide your customers with more solutions to benefit from under the UniFi wing, translating to more money in your pocket and more convenient solutions for your customers to deploy in their networks. We're lucky to have Andrew Pieper, solutions engineer at Ubiquiti and master of all things UniFi with us today. He has covered several UniFi topics in the past. If you haven't caught our last presentations, please check out our YouTube channel at youtube.com/ISP supplies, where all of our past UniFi presentations are available to watch, as will this presentation today. I'm sure we'll get tons of questions during this presentation. We also had a few come in through email. We encourage everyone to please submit your questions in the chat box, and we will cover as many as we can after the presentation, time permitting. I will now like to hand it over to Andrew. Andrew, take it away.
All right, great. Thanks. I appreciate that, Jonathan. Hope you didn't oversell me a little bit there, but I appreciate the nice introduction anyways. Thanks everyone for being here today. Always a pleasure to meet with everyone here. Today we'll be talking, this is kind of a fun webinar. This is a little bit different topic than kind of the main ones we normally do. It's an opportunity to discuss some of the products that are more early in their life cycle. You know, UniFi Network's been around for a long time. And with that, the product's definitely matured. But we have a number of other products that we've introduced that, as Jonathan mentioned, that kind of fill in the gaps there with an end-to-end IT solution. And there's a lot of different areas we'll cover today, but we won't go super in depth. Of course, if there's anything that you want to learn more about in the future, get more in depth on something in particular, feel free to call that out and we'll discuss that. But today I'll mainly be spending time on UniFi Talk, our VoIP solution, and then I'll get into all the other integrations as well. So we'll spend the first half or so on UniFi Talk, just because I think that's one of the products that's been around for a little while, but it's really set for a lot of interesting use cases right now. And I think there's a lot of opportunity for people in this call to take advantage of that and to use that in their business. So we'll talk about that today. But again, of course, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat, and we'll try to get our best to answer all those that we can. So just in the way of introduction, for those who aren't familiar, I think pretty much everyone here is probably familiar with UniFi, at least on a basic level. So I'll keep it pretty brief. But UniFi has become this very fast-growing product, this end-to-end IT solution with everything from network to digital signage to SD-WAN to digital digital audio and physical security. We have this huge product, this product families that cover a lot of different areas of the IT management experience. And one of the things that we're trying to do at UniFi is we're trying to build our reputation and become that kind of vendor that you can trust in your business. If you're a managed service provider, an integrator, or an end user, we want you to be comfortable using UniFi for anything that you can. So we've gone from being a very 20 years ago, we didn't even have our first UniFi product yet, but we came out with our first access point in about 2010, 2011. And since then, we've grown from network into physical security into managed VoIP and so on. And we keep growing really quickly. And part of how we've been able to grow so quickly comes down to the fact that we're just a little bit different. So these are kind of our pillars of our brand that kind of sets us apart. We're very focused on making hardware that's really high quality, but yet it's still price accessible. So you can see the influence with the way we design our products with Apple. We definitely have a lot of Apple influence in our company. Our CEO came from Apple originally, and you can see that in how the products are designed. But yeah, where we deviate from them is that we don't have that premium that premium, like luxury pricing, we try to make our hardware accessible for anybody. So we have really high quality hardware that has industry leading failure rates and is while still being very price accessible. We also have some a software experience is really high quality with UniFi. Despite the fact that you don't have to pay us for any software, our license free model means that the software that we provide updates for these products without you having to pay maintenance fees or having to pay for the development of that. For us, this represents a really important part of our business. We invest in you and in your business by providing good software that empowers you and gives you the tools you need to be successful. And our approach to our software it's a very big focus for us, and we're always constantly working on improving that experience. So there's still an area in our software that you think we need to improve, feel free to throw that in the chat as well. Always welcome feature requests and feedback. But that brings us to the third point, kind of what makes us UniFi, what makes us unique is our license-free cloud management model. So whatever UniFi product you buy comes with free cloud management on it and allows you to manage it from anywhere in the world through our hybrid cloud solution. So we have locally managed devices typically, but we create a secure tunnel that allows you to connect and manage those deployments no matter where they've been deployed. So this means if you're an integrator or MSP, you can grow your business to managing thousands of UniFi sites, all without having to pay a cent to us in licensing fees. And that means your customer, instead of that money having to go from your customer to us, it's instead that's money that you can make on maintenance and recurring revenue through maintaining those deployments. And we make it easy to do that with our free cloud management platform. So that gives us kind of an intro, where we're at with our UniFi products. This is kind of the main products that will be that UniFi is growing in. UniFi Network, which is our routing, switching, and access point platform. It's really what's changed in UniFi Network. If you haven't been following it in the last year or two, we've really gotten to where we can facilitate networks of any scale, including the highest density deployments in stadiums. We have now a 25 gig WAN router that's capable of passing large amounts of traffic. It has premium security features. It's a real next generation firewall product. We've also got UniFi Protect, which is our video surveillance platform and is all about making the management experience of physical security deployment really integrated and easy to do alongside your network products. Our portfolio has really evolved a lot. So if you're not up to speed on where we're at with UniFi Protect, we've come out with some new G6 products, our 6th generation cameras that are really well priced for a large deployment and offer a nice balance of features and value. So check those out. UniFi Access is really growing very quickly. This is our door access control solution, and in the last year and a half, we've introduced things, new features like elevator support for elevators, for gates, our first intercom device for apartment complexes, MDUs, and that sort of thing. And we've just been coming out with a ton of new features, but it's a really good product at this point. And today we'll be spending some time on UniFi Talk, so I don't need to introduce this much, but we just came out with our 3rd generation of phones, which I'll be going over in a moment. But I'm really excited about the opportunity what UniFi Talk has to integrate better than ever with your business. And then UniFi Connect. This is another product we'll be covering today, which covers everything from EV station, EV chargers to digital display, digital signage for places like retail and hospitality, that sort of thing. So we'll cover all this, but this is just showing you kind of how we're building this end-to-end solution, all those advantages and kind of those core focuses of our brand apply to all these different products, and as well as those new integrations we'll discuss today. So our site manager is where you go to manage all your sites globally. That's that cloud platform where no matter where you can manage in behalf of your customers all the deployments they have, whether it's physical security, network, uh, you know, network storage, or so on. And we'll keep adding more and more products to this, but you can see this has become a very uh, high quality platform for managing a large number of deployments, and we keep improving the features. We just introduced, for instance, like within the last week and a half, we've introduced UniFi Organizations, which allows you to set up a whole organization for your customers, including SSO integration with third-party SSO, including things like it's going to include identity credentials across all sites, so using a NFC card across multiple locations, but it makes it really easy to manage a large organization and to improve that experience. So check that out if you haven't seen it yet. Try it out. It's all free, and that's what's really amazing about this platform. It's a full identity platform, evolving into more SASE solution as well. As time goes on, it's all going to be free. So Really kind of an exciting platform there as well. So I'll skip over this, but you just know that UniFi, we're trying to solve some of the problems of managing an IT environment and making it and addressing that through our product. That's part of how we've been able to grow so quickly. But just know that we're always working at ways to bring solutions that's going to make it easier to be an IT manager or an integrator MSP. Let's talk about UniFi Talk now. So UniFi, our managed VoIP solution now is UniFi Talk. We've on our third generations of phone I mentioned, and I think we've had an interesting history with UniFi Talk. We originally launched several years ago. I started working here about 2015. A few years later, we launched our first phone device. This was UniFi VoIP. Was what we called it back then. This are kind of our G1 phones. They had some really nice features, but we learned a lot about this and things that we were missing in terms of the hardware and some improvements that we could make. And we released a lot better of a product with G2 Talk. Now, when we launched G2 Talk a few years ago, one of the challenge I think the hardware was much better than the previous generation, but we had some limitations in terms of what features we could support. So we've been spending years since we launched G2 Talk with adding a lot more features to the the managed VoIP solution that helps make it easier to build up your own deployment and to configure everything. And now I think that brings us to a really good place where we've got now a much improved updated hardware platform with G3 Talk phones, and we've also got a much more mature software solution. Not only that, we've also introduced for the first time with UniFi Managed VoIP the ability to use third-party solutions and integrate as with UniFi Talk Relay with other PBX solutions. So this is a pretty exciting time because basically whatever features that you need, if it's within our UniFi Talk PBX solution, we've got you covered. And if you want to use a different third-party platform like Ring Central, uh, uh, products like that, then you can integrate it with UniFi Talk Relay. So we've got really I think a solution that's really much better suited to meet the needs of the majority of environments out there. So if you haven't taken this seriously, I think it's a good time to really start looking at the UniFi Talk phones. So let me give you a overview of our G3 phones. So these are the kind of the portfolio we have right now. I think we may have some more products in the future coming out to fill in some other niches in the area. But just for right now, this is what we're planning on deploying or planning on releasing here, and we have a lot of these shipping this month. So basically, all the products should be released through May and available for you to order. That includes, for the first time, we have the UniFi G3 Touch wall-mounted VoIP phone, which this is really nice for places like education where you don't want to necessarily use up any space on a desk for this, and you may not have a lot of extra space. It's a good place to mount near the entry point, and it does facilitate things like use in intercom situations and things like that. So this is a mature portfolio and one that we're going to potentially build on, but really the software management experience is also improved. And with Talk Relay now, you can do basically anything you need to do for your environment. This is a detailed overview of what the products we've released now. We also released with the G3 phones for the first time our own Bluetooth headset. So this is in cases where you're making a lot of calls, you don't want to deal with a wired headset. We also have this available. It can be added onto the phones, and it's got some handy little features, but it's just a nice additional product to use if you're going to be using a lot of phone calls with our solutions. We also have the analog adapter there on the right. And this is nice for retrofitting. If you have some other phones in your environment, some analog phones that you want to incorporate into UniFi Talk Management PBX solution, you can go ahead and do that with the analog adapter. So this is a nice way to also, it has support for faxes as well. So fax machines can also be managed with this also. But this is a nice mature portfolio, and I think this is really the point where I think it warrants serious consideration to be one of your offerings when it comes to VoIP solutions. Let's talk about how also one of the advantages UniFi Talk offers, and this is one of the benefits of going with UniFi. Each product you install alongside each other, you can get additional value out of the other products. UniFi Access, when you're using UniFi Talk, what's cool is that you can actually integrate UniFi Talk phones into an access control physical security environment. This means with UniFi Access, you can actually have at a receptionist desk, you can have a UniFi Talk phone installed. Then that receptionist can whenever someone's going to try to access let's say that you have a front door that's open during business hours, and then you have a second door that in order for them to get admitted into the office, they need to speak to receptions and be admitted. You can turn on the intercom function to where the receptionist will receive a call from every person who rings the doorbell, and they can initiate a two-way audio conversation and one-way video with the video at that access that door access reader, and it will be able to, they can from this phone see that feed of the video, talk to the person, and then once they verify that they should have access to enter the facility, can go ahead and unlock from the phone. And this is just a nice way that by using UniFi Talk along other solutions, it just kind of adds some extra value. We also support from the phones. You can have it set up to where if your office, let's say that you want to have a view of all the entry points, if you're going to be potentially expecting someone to come that's going to be doing maintenance on the site and you need to go welcome them, you can have UniFi Protect running with those entry points showed up on your phone where you can see those live feeds. And when someone approaches the building, you can go out to meet them. We also have UniFi identity support, so you can log in, and then you can also access other deployments at other sites. So this means if you're having a multi-site deployment, like say using the UniFi organizations we talked about, you can log in with UniFi identity, and then you can access not only from the phone itself, you can access your other sites, but you can also, using the UniFi identity endpoint app on your mobile device, you can actually receive calls that are intended for your talk phone. So this soft phone functionality is an optional feature that comes with the premium option with UniFi Talk. If you're paying for the phone line through us, that then gives you the ability to also use a soft phone function with our identity app. So these are just some cool features. I actually use this myself when I'm making work calls instead of using my mobile phone. If I'm especially around traveling, I'll just go ahead and use the soft phone on my identity app, and then I'll make a call so that it comes from my work phone number. Then I'm not getting work calls on my personal phone line, that sort of thing. But it's really nice, just another additional feature. Now let's talk about kind of the difference between UniFi Talk PBX and UniFi Talk Relay. So these are your two options now, and there might be one that's better for you and one that's preferred for depending on your deployment. So with UniFi Talk PBX, this is a locally managed talk solution. So this is kind of the default talk experience. If you've used UniFi Talk with the G2 phones, this is your only option. It's actually not supported on the new on the G2 phones to use the Talk Relay, but you can still use the Talk PBX. And this is a really easy configuration, plug and play. You basically plug in the phones, you set it up on your cloud gateway or your UniFi console, and then you can manage the Talk software. And I'll kind of take you through a lab that I have set up to kind of show you what the configuration looks like. If there's any questions about that, but I think this is going to be the most easy way to manage a VoIP solution. And so, especially for a lot of small businesses or businesses where you don't have a lot of advanced features you need to leverage, or you just want basically the easiest way to set up your own VoIP solution, I think UniFi Talk is going to be the way to go. Again, it's all in one solution. There's no third-party integrations required, so you can basically set this all up through UniFi, and it makes it a very easy, scalable solution to manage. So again, I think this is right for you if you want to make managing VoIP system as easy as possible and as simple. If you've worked with UniFi, you know how easy the user experience is. We try to make the same thing for our VoIP management solution. Now, when you want to use UniFi Talk Relay, one of the difference here is that this is largely a cloud managed talk solution. So we actually don't. We have the option to basically set up the phones when you're turning them on. You can actually have them set up with a third-party PBX on a local scale, but that's going to be a more manual configuration process. Largely, I recommend if you're going to use UniFi Talk Relay that you incorporate it with our UniFi official hosting, our cloud servers that we have. This software runs on those cloud servers and allows you to manage phones spread out through 100 different sites or however many sites that you have, and you can manage up to 1,000 devices on a single instance. So it makes it really scalable. So that's a good option for you if you're going to be wanting to manage these phones on the cloud. Let's say you have a large number of individual home offices or maybe employees that are telecommuting, but you want to have a talk phone at each of those locations and not have something locally managed on each of those sites. This is a great solution for you then. You can also use those third-party PBX solutions like Ring Central, 3CX, Zoom, and more. And this also allows you to leverage our zero-touch provisioning feature. So we've got a new feature with our new phones where we ship with a little tag that you can pull off the label, and then it will show you the zero-touch provisioning code that you can scan it with the QR code, or you can just enter it into our site manager. What this means is that without having to unbox each one of your phones, configure them, and then ship them on to where they're going, you can have them set up without having to unbox them and have it set up to where once it arrives to that employees, let's say they're going to install it at home, it installs at their once they get it to their location, they plug it in, it'll automatically point to the right server and have the configuration, everything required. So this is really nice for scaling a large number of deployments. If you're doing a lot of small installs, this is really a nice feature. And then I think, of course, this is going to be key if you want to leverage those any advanced features that aren't supported in UniFi, or you want to use third-party integrations. Then it's going to be good to use the UniFi Talk Relay. So hopefully that's a good overview. But just like another, so you get an idea of what this looks like with UniFi Talk. This is kind of a typical setup where you have a cloud gateway. Maybe it's a UDM Pro or a UDR7, but this is going to be really easy to use. So it's a simple setup, just plug and play. It's going to be ready to go, and it's going to integrate a little bit easier with those other products installed on that same network. It's nice because you can, if you're already installing access points on a customer site, it's easy to run an additional PoE cable for the talk phones at each of the employees' desks, and you can deal with this at the same time. It integrates really well with the PoE switching and everything. Now, the other reason I think you might want to leverage UniFi Talk PBX is that we have some really cool features that are really easy to set up, like our smart attendant, where you can have it set up to have an auto, an AI answering service that says, thank you for calling Oak Ridge Labs or whatever. If you know your partner's extension, hit one now, that sort of a thing. It's really easy to set that up within UniFi. I would say easier than almost anything else out there. And it also has some other cool smart features that are really easy to use, like AI voice transcription. So you can have it set up to record calls and then transcribe those conversations. So if you're working in a high liability kind of field and you need to have recorded conversations for records, then it's a good option for that. But again, this is that end-to-end IC solution that you're used to with UniFi. It's going to be the easiest and most straightforward to deploy. Now let's talk about a little bit more about the UniFi Talk Relay. Well, let me show you what the software management experience looks like in UniFi Talk. You get like you can see here at the top, you can just switch seamlessly between different products, whether it's Protect, Access, UniFi Drive, so on. You just click the tab at the top, and then you can get an overview of what the analytics are like for your VoIP solution. How many calls are being made? When are they being made? What's the answer rate? Let's say you're managing a customer service office and you want some basic analytics. This is a good option for that. And the software just kind of makes it easy for you to manage from this one interface. So really, real well integrated with the rest of the UniFi products. Now, UniFi Talk Relay, this is a little bit different of a topology you see here. You can have those UniFi Talk phones spread all over the place that go through the cloud and connect back to the UniFi Talk Relay instance, and then that points them to the third-party PBX. So again, wide compatibility. You can use this with whatever, these third-party platforms. And like I said, zero-touch provisioning, really easy to use. So it's really easy for scalability and for a large number of deployment sites. And it gives you a lot of flexibility with how you use the product. So I think that kind of covers like the main advantages. I'll just stop for a minute before I move on. Jonathan, are there any questions about UniFi Talk Relay, UniFi Talk PBX, or anything I can help answer right now?
Yes, sir. A couple came in here. You did answer one of them. One of them was, is there a cordless phone coming out soon? And I see that we have the cordless receiver that's coming out, so that's pretty exciting there. A couple other questions. Any plans to bring back a conference room phone?
It's definitely something we're looking at. I can't provide any specifics about that, but I can tell you we are working on bringing that to market in a few different ways. So maybe that's something to look for in the future.
Awesome. There's another one here regarding AI voice transcriptions. Can we get local AI voice transcriptions, or at least a plan with unlimited AI transcription?
It's definitely something I can look at. I'm not aware of any limit on how many you can transcribe. Is there currently a limit on that? I'm not. Maybe I haven't tested enough to know that, but I can show you at least how to configure it on the call today when I look at my software, and then we can discuss if there's a feature request there. I can definitely forward that
Awesome.
up the chain.
Thank you. And if we need to look into it any further, we can do that in a future presentation. That's no issues there. One more question here that came up. Any plans for integration between Talk and CRM software? An example, auto-populate CRM software on screen using colors, caller ID, and caller information.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm not aware of any plans right now, but that doesn't mean they're not there. I mean, I'm not totally in the know in terms of the roadmap on these products in particular, but I can tell you that I do know at least a big shift is happening across the UniFi apps to do API integrations with webhooks and things like that. So you'll see right now already on UniFi Protect, for instance, we support webhooks where you basically can set up a trigger where if something happens in the site, let's say that you know your facial recognition detects an employee that's already been tagged because they're a disgruntled employee that may be a former employee that threatened the workplace. It has it set up where if they're detected on the site, then it will initiate. You want to have it automatically alert the supervisor that's on staff and law enforcement. You can have stuff like that set up automatically with UniFi Protect, and that's part of like that idea of where we want to promote with all of our apps. We want to promote more awareness of what's going on in a more scalable way. So if you're managing a large number of deployments, we want to be able to give you ways for you to be able to set triggers to where if a certain criteria is met, then it will go ahead and allow you to set up a custom uh, process for what's to follow if those conditions are met. So we can see this happening right now with a lot of different things, and we support webhooks with that, to where you can create a ticket at any time certain criteria is met and that sort of thing. So we have a lot of features coming out along those lines that would make sense for me if we have something like that for UniFi Talk. And That's the direction we're going. So I think it's very likely we'll go in that direction in time. But I can't tell you exactly where that's out on the roadmap. But I do think it makes a lot of sense, and certainly something that we can help facilitate in the future. And I'd say even if we keep expanding on our API support and documentation, which we're coming out with for all of our products, then that also means you can also leverage those API solutions to build your own integration as well, if necessary.
Awesome. Thank you. We have one or two more questions here, and then I'll let you get back to the presentation. I don't want to derail you too far from what
You're
you put
good.
together there. One question is, can we run Teams on VoIP phones for video and audio calls?
Not currently yet, but again, that's something we're definitely looking at, and we know that there's demand for. So, yeah, stay tuned for potentially more developments there.
Awesome. And last question on UniFi Talk here. When is group paging coming to the phones?
I'm not sure exactly on that feature. I know it's been requested a lot, and I know we do have some changes coming to paging. But I will have to say I don't know right now. But maybe in a future presentation or something, we'll have some more information there.
Awesome. Thank you, Andrew. And everybody, please keep the questions coming. This is good stuff. Andrew, if you can please proceed with your presentation. That's all we
Yeah.
have for UniFi Talk right
I'll
now.
just also add real quick, if there's a feature request like that or a feature that you want to know about, feel free to post in our community. I'm sure it's already discussed there, but a lot of times if there's a lot of people like yourself looking for that feedback, we'll have someone respond to that and provide a time frame or an expectation of that. So feel free to post in our community if there is something specific that you want to know about that I can't tell you on this call. All right,
Awesome.
let's move on then. All right, so let's get on to the rest of the presentation. We're going to talk about mobile routing, EV stations, digital signage, and so on. This is going to be the rest of kind of the categories mentioned within the integration. Let's start talking about, first of all, our mobile routing and internet modems. A lot of you might not be aware of this, but we do provide we have currently a model of, in the middle there, you see with our cable modem, we provide a wired cable modem for certain vendors, I believe, or certain ISPs. I think Spectrum's one of those. That's what I have at home. But check out that device if you're wanting to use a UniFi managed modem as well. In addition to, you say you have the router, the gateway, and everything else, UniFi, you have the option of, if your ISP supported, to use that. Now we also support our mobility routers, which are these compact gateways that can work with 4G, with LTE, and can provide connectivity in the event. And this can be used in a variety of ways. We see a lot of people using these mobile routers in like ISPs, using these where they have a lot of remote equipment. They can use these devices to provide connectivity locally over Wi-Fi. They can do things like provide routing for other devices that will be wired into this device. And they also are used a lot of times as a backup device in the event that there is a primary network failure. So that, let's say you're on in an office that you need to have basic connectivity to update records, customer records all the time. You can have one of these on site to also act as as one of your multi-WAN options, which UniFi recently made a change that we support up to 8 WANs on a gateway device. So this can be one of those options if you want to use it in failover, where let's say the primary WAN and the secondary WAN fail over, you can have it fail over to one of these devices. But that's also why we have those LTE backups there as well. But we have a number of options here. I also think there's a lot of opportunities that we're seeing for things like food truck. You can offer a networking package for food trucks if, as a part of your integration business, where you can go to these food trucks and offer to set them up with Wi-Fi for their customers, for POS software integration, for all that stuff. And the mobility routers can play a vital role in that process. So check out our platform that we have now. The standard is kind of it's a nice compact form factor, and it comes with the AT&T support for US customers. But with the Ultra, it's a very it's more low cost option that also supports bring your own SIM card. And then the UMR Industrial will be a more like featured product that also can do a little bit more than the Ultra, but that is also agnostic to the service provider that you'd be using it with. But check out those products. There's a lot of opportunities. I know I've seen some very large orders from customers. When you find the right customer, they may end up ordering, thousands of these devices. We have some customers that have that if you happen to find the right customer, that will order those that scale of devices. So just find the right customer, and then you'll see that there's a lot of demand for these. But I think there's definitely room for a lot of creativity for how you can leverage these solutions. All right, let's move on. Before I move on, mobile routing. Any questions for me about this, Jonathan? I need to cover.
Actually, I did get one question about it. And any plans for a mobile router that accepts dual SIM cards from different carriers?
I think I'll have to verify. But I was under the impression that one of these may have dual SIM, or at least we support nano SIM and then another SIM slot. But I can need to verify that.
Mhm.
Um, one
And
second.
one more
Yeah, go
question that came in is, does the mobile router support ATA?
ahead. The mobile router, I'll have to verify that. I'm not entirely sure if the base model does support that. I will tell you, it looks like with the mobile router industrial, that this does have let's see, one nano SIM. Okay, I think we're still missing the dual nano SIM there. Um, but maybe
Yeah, I
someone
believe
else
it's
here is
single SIM.
experienced working with that and can verify. But I'm not. I haven't tested with dual SIM or anything. So I think it is still one SIM right now.
Okay, thank you. And one more question here, is 5G coming? We really need a 5G router for many accounts.
Yeah, we're very much aware that there's demand here, and I think we're working on some solutions there. So stay tuned for that.
Excellent. Appreciate it. That's all we got on mobile routing.
All right, sounds good. Let's move on. And let's go on to the EV charging station. So this is another one of those like niche that maybe not a ton of demand for. I don't think anyone's here is going to build a business primarily on deploying these products. That doesn't mean that it doesn't have a useful place in the deployment, especially where we're talking about. Let's say you're going to a customer that's doing a equipment refresh for all their networking equipment. You're coming in doing network equipment and physical security. It's a nice opportunity to be able to offer products like this as a supplement, to be able to say like, hey, if you want to manage your EV chargers as well, we have a solution there, and it integrates really well with your other UniFi products. So we have two models right now. Basically, the difference between these two products largely comes down to the display. So the EV Station Pro is going to have that large touch screen, which is nice because you can play like digital sign. You can have digital signage on it. Let's say it's going to be a public EV charger that you're going to provide. We also support card reader accessory for this for payments. So you can have it be a paid charging kiosk. And then you can also have it set up if you're going to provide public access, maybe for free as a part of a business. You can also have digital signage or advertising playing on that. So that's the difference between this and the EV Station Lite, whereas the EV Station Lite just has that small little screen right there, and it's not going to be used for that digital signage and that sort of thing. So that's going to be the main difference between the two. EV Station Lite more affordable than the EV Station Pro, but the EV Station Pro gives you that potential support for that card reader accessory. So if you're gonna use that for potential payment, then maybe you want to go the route of the EV Station Pro. But in any case, it's very easy to set up and manage, and through UniFi. But I think these products do have some interesting use cases, and it's something worth looking at when you're doing a full unified deployment. Let's move on to digital signage. So this is another category I think that we're seeing a lot of demand for and growth. Like you'll notice that we tend to have difficulties keeping these products in stock, especially the new UCCast Pro and some of these products. Uh, Basically, the idea with UniFi is we provide a nice way with UniFi Connect for you to manage your digital displays to do things like for digital signage. So these are a lot of interesting use cases. Let's say you're going into a food court, you're deploying UniFi in a food court in a mall, and you're facilitating the network equipment they need in each one of those booths where each vendor that's serving food or whatever will be operating. Cool thing about this, you can also with the UCCast Pro, you can have it set up to where they can also each manage their own displays without having to get up and change the content with like a USB drive. I spoke to some of you may know that we have a unified deployment that's full stack deployment in an NBA stadium with the Memphis Grizzlies. I spoke to the Daryl who runs that deployment over there, and he described how previously they used to have they have a lot of different spaces in this NBA stadium where they're temporary advertising spaces. Like it'll be like a booth that maybe one vendor for a month will set up and we'll be running a booth there, and then the next month it'll change to someone else. And with the part of these like displays, sometimes they have dedicated TVs for digital signage that previously they used to have send someone to every time this changed to send someone with a USB drive to plug into the TV and update the content. Now with UniFi Connect, they're able to update all those displays automatically and through the app itself without having to climb up there. And what's also cool about this, you can have schedules, so you can even have spaces that are shared purpose areas that, let's say, during these hours you have it set up to be displaying this retail digital signage displays, and during these hours you're going to show a different vendor that's going to come into that space. So you can really customize and get as granular as you want with scheduling and with content, and there's a lot of different use cases for these products. But again, one of these things that if you find the right customer for this, it can scale very high very quickly. And so it's something you want to be familiar with when you're going to customer locations and offering UniFi services. Any questions about these for me before I move on? We can also answer questions you have about the EV chargers as well.
Yeah, we actually had a few questions come in for the EV chargers and for UniFi Connect as well. One of them is, do the EV chargers come with adapters for all types of electric vehicles?
We have our own charging plug. I think you can get your own adapter, but it doesn't come. It's the SA J1772 charging plug. I don't think it comes with the adapters for other options, but you can definitely adapt that and change that to whatever you need. Yeah.
Beautiful. When will the credit card reader be available to order for the EV charger?
I understand that we previously had it for sale. I did see something that indicated that we were working on bringing this back to the store. Stay tuned for that. I'd say for the time being, I don't have any specifics to offer, but I do know that it sounded like we were working on that again. But I think if that's going to be the main focus is getting the payment, you'll definitely want to follow the post on the community. I think I saw where someone asked about this and kind of get an update there. But I don't have anything specific to offer there, but I do understand that it's being worked on.
All right, come in soon. That's good though. Another question here: is there a separate app I have to download to monetize my EV charger?
So basically, you have to have that plug-in, and then we also support. I don't remember what the third-party vendor is that we use to process those payments, but I'll have to post a KB article on this for more information. I'll post that once we finish the next section. Yeah.
Cool.
Once we go to the lab, I'll look up that as well, and maybe Jonathan can provide that after the meeting as well.
All right. Yeah. Any questions that we can't really answer right now, we will dig up those answers and make sure we get them over to everybody. Another question on the EV chargers: can I set the rate on my charger manually to a rate that I choose?
Set the rate of the charging, you said?
Of the price per, I guess, per kilowatt, or I'm not sure exactly how it.
Oh, I think with the third party, yeah, you can customize that. Yeah. Let me share in chat. I'm gonna share this real quick. So it's here. But here is a KB article that explains this and what's needed in order to use that payment for EV charging. So this explains we use like WorldPay as the merchant we use, and they're unaffiliated with us, but this is what's used, what has to be used as part of this process. And it walks you through the setup and everything.
Good deal. That's a good article. Thank you. That actually answers a lot of our EV charger monetization questions here. One last question on the EV chargers. Are any plans on bringing level 3 or DC fast charging to the EV chargers?
I've definitely heard that request. I'm sure that's something we're kicking around and looking at. So I don't have anything specific to provide right now, but it doesn't mean that we don't have something coming.
Cool. Shifting over to UniFi Connect question here. Will we have the ability to cast from another non-UniFi device, such as a phone or laptop, on the Connect display?
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's a plan. I do know that we do support Android apps, so you can use Android apps, which allows some different use cases. And then also, I think there may be some potential that we do add something there in the future. I just don't know of anything right now, but definitely know it's something we've looked at and discussed. Yeah.
All right. And last Connect question here, so we can get back to our presentation, is will you be bringing back the smaller Connect displays? Will they be making a comeback?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. To be honest, and I think if that's definitely something that you're interested in, posting in our community, and because I think it's helpful to know that people want it.
Right. Perfect. All right. We can go back to the presentation. Thank you, Andrew.
Yeah. Also, just one thing to note too with UniFi Connect, we do support integration with Lutron. So for people that are doing smart shades, smart lighting, and stuff like that, we also, as a part of this UniFi Connect app, have ways to do that. So I'll post this in here as well. But you can kind of see this platform becoming an IoT management platform. There's the article I'm referring to. If you're using someone that deploys Lutron products, this should provide some information on that. Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's move on then. Network storage. So this is another product. I think I saw requests for this forever. I mean, people wanted a UniFi NAS device. We've got the UNIS Pro now, and that's been released here since last year, I think about August. And what's great about this, there's a lot of demand. I think we've had a hard time keeping these in stock because of how much people want these devices. We're looking at ways to expand this product family, and I think there's going to be some releases in the future potentially that will provide more form factors for this. But I can't provide any specifics on that, but just say that it's something we are looking at and hope to have something in the future. I think you'll find that the UniFi management experience with UniFi Drive software is really easy to use and really simple, straightforward. I'll just give you a heads up. If you're someone that's looking for a NAS device to be used as like to run Docker apps, this is not going to be the ideal function, the ideal product for you. But it is better for it's. I think it's really geared towards file sharing and making it very easy to share files across an organization and with externally from an organization. It's also really good for backups of workstations and things like with Apple Time Machine. So there's a lot of interesting use cases for this. I think it's also great. You guys can have it set up with you have UniFi Protect to sync to your NAS device as well. So you can have it set up to sync the footage that you have stored. If you want to have like only 3 months on your NVRs, but you want to sync out to your NAS device, you can also integrate it with UniFi Protect in that respect. But I think this has actually been pretty good feedback, and there's been a number of improvements made, and I think there's still some more coming. But I definitely think this is an exciting product and with a lot of potential to grow, and when we see some cool things coming in the future. So stay tuned for that. Any questions for me about the NAS devices?
We did receive one question. Can we get AI integration into the UNAS?
Maybe it'd be helpful to know more what you're looking for in specific. So if you don't mind providing a little bit more information about what you're looking for with AI integration, that'd be great. So please,
we can circle back around to this question later on, and if by any chance we don't get to answer it on this presentation, we'll shoot them an email. Make sure we get them that info.
Sounds good.
That's all the questions we have on the storage.
All right, cool. So another category too that we just introduced a product for, and this is again brand new. I mean, this has only been out for a few months. Is our power amps, the UPL amp. This is a really nice amp for playing music and for managing. You can manage all your playback of these devices within a business. So let's say that you have a retail store and you want to play music that's synced across that retail store. This device can do that. You can control many zones through UniFi and sync the audio. You can have set up with audio control across these zones, and for there's a lot of features in terms of what you can play in terms of content. We use right now it's currently integrated with the UniFi Play mobile app, which if you haven't tried it out, it's really simple and easy to use, straightforward. And I think this is going to be a product that will definitely have some room to grow in the future with more integrations. I know we've added already multiple playback methods, but we now support Apple AirPlay 2 and Spotify Connect. And I think we also support something like Play My, I forget what it's called, My Brand or something like that. I'll have to tell you what that is. But PowerAmp, I think, is it's really high quality hardware design. If you feel this product, it gives you good feedback when you move that dial on the front, and it supports a variety of connectors in the back for whatever you need. The cool thing I tell people, if you're going to be doing a unified deployment and you want to offer this to them, one of the great things about this with us is that we're used to managing networks, a lot of AMP solutions out there. Sometimes networking and connectivity and stuff can be a challenge. With us, especially integrating to unified network, we can kind of give you that quality of experience that you need when it comes to networking. And we also support QoS profiles with UniFi Play within the networking app. So it's really good if you're integrating this with a unified network. But it allows us, we've been able to spend some effort on making sure that it works really well. And I've heard great feedback about this product. It sounds great, and it's really easy to set up and manage. Any questions for me about the PowerAmp before we move on? And then I think I'm just going to take you through some of the software and show you a few things while we have the remaining time, if there's no other questions.
No additional questions on the PowerAmp. We do have some time to go over the additional slides. So yeah, we're
All
good
right,
to go.
cool. So just something I want to share. I like to share whenever I can. We have a number of resources that are useful. If you haven't been on a webinar or haven't ever seen this, feel free to take a screenshot right now. Save this for your reference. These are all great resources for you. If you're someone that works at UniFi a lot, want some helpful resources, these are all great things for you to look at. All right. But I'm gonna stop sharing, and I'm gonna switch over to let me switch over to my other my lab here, and I'll kind of show you a few things. So let me show you about Connect. I think a lot of people, we'll start with just showing you how to manage UniFi Connect. It's pretty easy and very straightforward. So we talk about managing those digital displays. What's great, you can upload your own content, and it's really easy. You can go ahead and just upload media. You can do videos, as you can see here. Everyone can see this all right now, Jonathan. You're good at seeing my screen right now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. So you can see here the limit on the file size and everything. We support videos up to 5 gigs, and we also support YouTube, so you can have longer videos on YouTube that we can have set up to play on a display. But here you can upload the media. You can put playlists together and set up your own playlist. Here you can upload, if you want to just have music playing with images of with maybe some digital ads playing in the background. You can do that really easily. Set up the transition, the background music, all that, and you can upload your own audio and everything. So yeah, if you have particular music you want to force everyone to listen to in your workplace, this is one way to do it. We also have it's really easy for you to change these displays. Let's say you have a breakfast menu, a lunch menu. There's a few different ways to do this, but you can set up schedules that will automatically schedule out these menus. So let's say you want to set up a menu to display. We want to display this menu at starting at 10 o'clock. So let's say lunch menu. We'll schedule it every day starting at 10 o'clock. So if someone wants to order breakfast, you got to tell them it's over. We got the lunch menu set up. We're going to set it up to our displays within the restaurant, and we'll have it set up to automatically. We'll choose what content we want to display then. There you go, and we'll create that. So here we go. We have the lunch menu, and then we can have it set up a menu. Let's say we want to do at 3 o'clock for the dinner menu. I can go in here now and change it to the content of the other. We can go ahead and change it to this menu for the dinner menu, assign the content. We select the dinner menu, and then we can go ahead and save that. And then it'll be set up to every day at that 10 o'clock a.m. to change the lunch menu and 3 o'clock to change the dinner menu. But you can customize this however you want. You can have playlists. You can have, if you want to change the different ads that you're showing at different times, there's a whole lot of granularity that you can get into with this. But it's really that easy to change it. You can see here we support. It's really easy to change the content. You can do it on a one-off. If you want to just have static content that's always on display, you can just go in here to assign content, select what you want to show. You can also do YouTube. We support YouTube, Android apps, and websites as well. So you can change any of these and then just go ahead and assign it and it'll show up. I've got a camera here. Let me show you how responsive it is. So I can just go in here. If I want to change this menu to the lunch menu here, go ahead and assign that. There you go. You see the changeover happen that quickly. So really easy to manage, very snappy, low latency. But yeah, it's a nice product and it's really easy to use and manage. And I think you'll find it's adds a lot of value for these kinds of deployments. So retail, I think it's great for. It can be really used in education as well. If you have like displays throughout the school, there's displaying announcements and things like that. It can be really good to manage that. I think there's a lot of potential use cases and things. But yeah, just talk to your customers and see if this is something you can add on to a deployment. And I think you'll find that it's really a nice solution. Any questions about that before I move on?
One question did come in. Does the Protect app on the Connect display show live license plates?
On the Protect app itself. So if I go in here to Protect app, you mean? Does it show live license plates?
I believe so.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, so you can have it set up. Let me show you this. Well, let me first do this real quick. Since we're discussing Connect, I can go show you that I've actually have it set up here. We're gonna change it to YouTube channel, and I'm gonna reload the page. Well, I gotta change the URL. I think this is out of date here. Let's go ahead and do this. Let's see if it's gonna start playing here. Well, I might need to get a new YouTube link, but in any case, I can go ahead and assign a video. I would like to show you that. I had it playing. Oh, here it is right now. So here it is playing right now. And I have it set up to where it can do potentially train on those license plate recognition. Now, I'd have to customize this URL to play the 4K version to really get all these license plates pulled off really well. But you can see here, you can set it up to where it automatically, let me go ahead and you can have it set up to automatically highlight vehicles. And then we can also have it set up to highlight license plate. There you go. See, there's the question you're asking for right there.
Beautiful. That's a great feature. Thank you.
Yep. Any other questions for me? All right, so let's spend some time real quick. If there's nothing else, I just want to show you a few things on UniFi Talk. So first of all, you can set up. Let's go. I want to show you real quick. Let's go to. Let's go in here to. I'm going to show you the talk management here. So you can. I want to show this real quick too about how easy it is to set up the AI feature. So you can basically set it up. I'm going to go ahead and so basically you can set it up to basically automatically do a menu, a smart attendant. So you can set up and give it all a name. I can go ahead and do a new one here. Let's go ahead and clear this out. So it's this easy. You can go ahead and assign a smart attendant for your audio. You can have it set up to be assigned to whatever numbers that you want to use. And you can customize everything down to the ring, the whole music. If you want to have any type of music you want people to listen to when they're on there, if you get tired of hearing the same whole music, you can upload your own. That's all good. You can select from the options we have here. Let's go serene. We'll do that. We'll move forward. And it's really, this is one of the nice things I just mentioned with UniFi Talk, just how easy it is to set up these features. You can have it set up right now to, only want to do this after hours whenever there's no receptionist working. I can have it set up here to do that every day. And it's that easy to go ahead and set your schedule here. We'll go ahead and go next. And you can enable other features like the ability to dial an extension directly to the smart attendant, so on. And you can even customize what your what your smart tenant says. You can upload your own, you can record your own and upload it, or you can generate your own. Thank you for calling Ridgecrest Apartments. Please select from the following options. And then you can upload, you can customize what the menu looks like. So press 1 to speak with property management. And you can assign the destination. We'll take Jamie as the property manager. We'll set 2 to contact speak to an operator. You know, you can go through this process. You can set this all up, and it's all that easy to manage and set up. So, and then you can see a ring flow that allows you to like see the view during this time. And you can set it up to where instead you can have a different one for business hours and non-business hours. But I think this is just a cool feature that just kind of captures what it is to manage UniFi Talk solution. How I was able to set this up in 2 minutes, but you can get as granular as you want with this. But I find this to be one of the benefits of UniFi Talk is just how easy to set up stuff like this. We also mentioned AI transcriptions. I think I've already enabled that here. Let's see. So here we go. We have the AI transcriptions. You can have it set up to record, and you can turn on transcriptions, and you can have it set to automatically redact person identifier information if you're worried about it retaining information that's sensitive. And you can also have it set up to give an announcement. You know, this call may be recorded for quality assurance training purposes, you know, that sort of thing. So you can customize all of that, have it set up, and then this will automatically set to record. I don't see anything about a limit of how many of these can come through. Back to that question I had earlier. So I'm not aware of any limits here. The number of those allowed. So, all right. Any other questions for me? I think we're about out of time. I think that's a good place to leave off. There's tons more I'd like to show you, but if there's in the future, if you guys want to know more about how to manage digital displays and get a whole presentation on that, I could always do something like that. But for now, if there's any more questions before we take off, I'd be happy to answer those.
We'll definitely be doing a management follow-up video in the near future, so we can kind of go through every single baked-in feature of each one of the lines. So we really appreciate the rundown, Andrew, and that is all the time we have for today. The question chat window was very active, which is fantastic. Any questions that we didn't get to during our presentation, we will definitely be reaching out with the info. And also, if anyone thinks of any additional questions, please send them over to us at sales@ispsupplies.com, and we'll get you all the answers you're looking for. And for any UniFi projects in the works, please send us an email for an equipment build and a quote. Or if you prefer just to give us a buzz, you can give us a call at 855-947-7776, which spells out 855-WISP-PRO. Andrew, as always, it's been great having you, and we really appreciate your support and all the work that you put into today's presentation. And as previously mentioned, if we will be posting this webinar recording on our YouTube channel as well as on social media. So everyone, please make sure to subscribe to our channel at youtube.com/ISP Supplies and follow us on Facebook, follow us on LinkedIn, Instagram. We're constantly posting tons of announcements, promotions, giveaways, tips, and everything else that's happening in the industry. So thanks again to everyone who showed up today and everyone watching this recording. And until next time.
Thanks, everyone.